Yeah, obviously not the result we wanted. I thought there was a lot of controllables on our end. Obviously, credit Syracuse. They played great. They have some players that are just really, really hard to guard. But we were kind of, it was like a tale of two teams. First half, I thought we were completely different than the second half. And had we been the second half team, I think there probably would have been a different outcome. But, you know, Deisha Fair, she's special. She had 33 points. We tried a lot of things, run different people at her, face guard her, hedge her, trap her, and she just kind of had her way, and it was pretty difficult to guard. But some of the other ones I thought were controllables and gave too many wide open shots. But when our urgency kicked in and our competitiveness, we looked pretty good in the second half. So we just got to, again, put together a 40-minute game.
We start with questions for the student athletes first.
Sam, when you obviously you guys are not trying to get off to a slow start, but when you start that way against a quality team and you're chasing them the whole game, how much harder does that make the task of getting back in the game and then winning it?
Oh, it makes it so much harder. And, you know, throughout this whole season, we've kind of struggled, you know, a lot, just either starting games really well or starting the second half really well. And we just haven't found consistency yet in being able to do that, you know, every single game. And until we can do that, we're going to be in situations like this against great teams like Syracuse. So we got to work on that in practice. And, you know, and it starts in practice. Like we were talking about this in the locker room, like we can't come to practices and start out slow either. Sometimes we'd be starting slow. And if we continue to do that, it's just going to trickle into games. So it's got to be consistency outside of just the games too.
This is for both players. You guys dug that hole early on, but as has happened many times this year, you guys have shown a fight to get back into the game no matter what the deficit is. What does that say about your team that you guys can do that time and time again?
I mean, we know what we're capable of, but we just got to show up. We just got to do it. I know we say it a lot, time and time again, but at the end of the day, we just got to do it. We just got to show up. I mean, we know what type of team we can be. Obviously, the fight is there, but I'd rather be in a position, you know, to be up instead of having to fight and crawl out of a hole. So just trying to make sure that we're working hard in practice, you know, letting it translate to the game, like Sam was saying, talking about how we got to, you know, start out like we usually do in practice and just translate it to the game. And, yeah, just kind of stop talking about it and just do some action.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the question is that we don't want to win, because we all want to win. That's not the issue. The issue is just we don't do the small things a lot. And when you don't do the small things, that leads to big things happening and not in the good way. And so we got to take those small things and actually do them. And once we start doing them, that's why we got 2 road wins. Road wins. It's hard in the ACC to win on the road. And we did the small things in those games. And, you know, you don't play a perfect 40 minutes, but you do those small things, and it all comes together. So.
Yeah.
Cam, for you, your first game back last week against Wake and your first home game today. For you, how difficult were those few games that you were away from the court? And how good is it for you, one, to be back on the floor, and what did you learn in those few games away?
I mean, it sucks not being able to play. I think I missed about 4 games, so that's 2 weeks of basketball, and it was frustrating. I was frustrated, and I knew kind of, okay, you know, this is a reset for me. So I just kind of looked at the silver lining of kind of having that perspective outside, having that eagle's eye, and kind of see how I can impact the game. So, you know, obviously it did suck, but I know I can come back. I knew I was going to get ready for it. And these last 2 games, just kind of getting my wind back, obviously that's perfectly fine now. I think after that first game I was good. And, yeah, just trying to impact the game as much as I can. I mean, I think the post group, we're such a big part of this team. So just doing our job, doing rebounding, being a force in the paint, being able to stretch the defense. Like Sam, she can stretch the defense, shoot outside, and score inside. Just doing our job.
Any other questions for the student athletes?
In the second half, there seemed to be a shift in offensive plays, and I was wondering if you could talk about the adjustments you made to drive to the basket or be more open for shots.
Yeah, we just settled in at that point, honestly. When we came out in the game today, it was kind of like we were shell-shocked, and like we had never seen that before. And we played against 3-2 zones and 2-3 zones, and so I don't know if it was nerves or what kind of made us do that, but we just changed our mindset going to that second half. And when you're down going into the second half, I mean, all you have to do is think about, we're down, we got to come back. And so if we want a chance to win, we have to change your mentality. And so like I was saying earlier, we just have to have consistency with doing that in the first half and then carry it over in the second.
Yeah, offensively, you know, like we just had to find our groove really. I mean, I got my shot blocked and I was like, all right, now I got to drive. You know, just making those small adjustments and making them quicker in the game. So I was a little slow on that, and I think some of us were kind of slow on that to make those quicker adjustments. But I think once we kind of figured it out, then we really got the ball rolling, pulling up jumpers, blowing past people, getting inside, high-low actions, things like that, especially in the zone. I think we got a lot of high-low actions a lot this game, but obviously it wasn't enough. And I think making those adjustments quicker and not having to have to reset, you know, taking that first 5 minutes and be like, all right, look, now we got to turn it up, you know what I mean? So, or just starting off with that mentality in the first place will really help us put in 40 minutes together, not just 20.
For both of you guys, 10 assists for Mo this afternoon. Just how much has she grown as, we know she can score the ball, but how much has she grown as an overall point guard over the course of the year?
Yeah, I mean, being a freshman, PG is like one of the most difficult positions. I mean, you got to learn not only different plays, language, but you got to learn everybody else's position. You got to be a facilitator in the general on the court. And I think she's really stepped up to the plate, and this is kind of what she was born to do, honestly. She's doing a really great job. And obviously there's mistakes here and there. Everybody makes mistakes here and there if you're a first year or fifth year. So, but praise to her because she's really holding it down, and she's putting us in a position to score. I think I got her a couple of those assists. She's dropping it down, made the adjustment. She adjusts very well. She reads defenses very well when it comes to pull-up jumpers, hard hedges, safeties, things like that. So, she's doing a great job, especially her freshman year. So I think the rest of her career is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, she has one of the best basketball IQs out there, and she's only a freshman. And you know, she's averaging, I don't even know what she's averaging, a lot of points, and a lot of rebounds. She rebounds really well from the guard spot, and I think, you know, we know she can facilitate. She finds us in spots. She finds me on kickback. She finds Cam on pick and rolls, and if she's posting up. But she really changes the game for us on the boards, too, because she's in there a lot, and especially in second half, she's always kind of making her way in there and getting huge rebounds for us that get us another offensive possession. So, you know, I'm excited for her and her future, and it's really bright, and she's a really big player for us right now, and she's going to continue to be.
We'll take questions for Coach Mox now.
When a talented team like Syracuse is able to kind of find its rhythm offensively early in the game the way they were today, is it that much harder to kind of knock them out of their rhythm as the game goes on when they're already comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, yes, I do. Is mine on? Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, I can't hear it. Sorry. I do think you want to try and take people's confidence early, and we didn't really do that. I mean, they shot some open shots. They saw it go in. But then I thought in the second half, we were better. I mean, we beat them in both quarters in the second half. So we had way more urgency, contested better, made the adjustments there, tried to switch up some things on Deasha, and tried to make sure we took away open shots. So some of those threes, I mean, hit 12 threes, that's a lot. Shot 60% from the three and 51 from the field. That's really high. But a lot of that was in the first half. I thought, you know, we really didn't contest a lot of shots. So I liked how we adjusted and came out in the second half with more urgency on the defensive end and rebounding, you know. So they're number one in the conference in offensive rebounding. We're number two. And I thought it was a battle in there. And our bigs really stepped up. Our guards stepped up. And you just, you know, our second half was just way better than the first.
27 assists on 30 made field goals today. Talk about the team sharing the ball today, and also the 10 turnovers in the first half and only 2 in the second half, and how important was that and kind of changing the script from first to second half?
Yeah, I mean, we knew we had to take care of the ball, and that's why, you know, it just was, I don't think anybody was prepared, anybody on our team, with the way that we came out in the first half, because it's not, we just couldn't get it going. We were very passive against the zone, weren't really clicking, turning the ball over because we weren't aggressive. You know, we were just kind of standing there with the ball in our hand and then trying to make a pass into a loaded zone. So when we actually punched gaps and started moving the ball in the second half, then things opened up. You know, we were able to make good passes. We were able to pick them apart a little bit. So, you know, the first half, like I said, it was just tale of two teams. First half, 10 turnovers. Second half, 2. because we changed our mentality and our competitiveness and our urgency. But that was huge because if we kept turning, if we ended up with 20 turnovers, we probably would have got blown out. So we definitely closed the gap and had a chance to, win. But at the end of the day, you can't go down by 20 in the first half and think we can fight back. So, yeah. Sorry.
And then a crowd of over 6,600 today. I believe that's a season high for you. And
Yep.
obviously you had the ceremony at halftime. Just talk about the crowd energy today.
Oh, there we go. It was a great crowd. That's why I got on the mic after and just thanked everybody. Asked them to keep showing up. We have 2 more home games, and we're going to continue to get better. We have gotten better. And so I just love that there's an excitement about women's basketball in our community right now. Wahoo Nation is really with us and just supporting us. I mean, to see that many people there, and when we started getting it going in the second half, they got into it. They got really loud. That helped us. And it makes it a tough environment for the other team. So I'm just so excited about what we're building and how people are supporting us and supporting our student athletes. And a lot of the young girls that, attend our games that look up to them. And I just get a lot of feedback about how they want to be like them when they grow up, and they look at them as role models. And that's what it's all about. Obviously we want to win games. We're not getting used to losing. Nobody wants to lose, and we're going to continue to get better and fight and get to a place where we're winning a lot of games. But if we're impacting people along the journey and along the way, that means a lot too. So I know our players love to give back to the community, and I just love that, they're starting to really show up and give us a lot of love.
Coach, Sam mentioned little things needing to be better. What would kind of be at the top of your list of little things that you would like to see improve to get these games over the hump?
Yeah, just a little bit more consistency and accountability, that with the intangible things. So for this game, I thought from beginning to end, rebounding was really good. We knew we had to do that like every possession. So you're not going to get every one, right? But that's something that we can control. It's energy, effort, want to, and I thought we did a good job with that. Now, in the first half, controlling or having some accountability with how we come and approach the game is a little thing, but it carries over. So if everybody's kind of out of rhythm and everybody's really passive against the zone, then we're going to get 10 turnovers in the first half, and we're going to be very stagnant, and we're not going to get good looks, and we're going to be, 10 seconds and under throwing up crazy shots. But when we control how urgent we are and how competitive we are and how, selfless we are, because then we start sharing the ball and start setting other people up, then we can change the game. So that's why we ended up having 27 assists on 30 baskets. That's good. That's great, especially against the zone. So second half, we were controlling that narrative, So, okay, I know they're going to be loaded on this side. Well, let me drive and kick, or let me drive and dump down to my big. Let me, one more pass. Let me set somebody else up. So some of those little things, energy, effort, competitiveness, little parts of the game plan. We don't ever strong side help off of shooters in the corner. We did that in the first half in particular. Second half, we made that adjustment. There was less open threes. So just, little parts of the game plan that end up being big, and little parts of consistency that end up being big when they're not attended to.
I don't know if you were out of the locker room at that point, but during the halftime recognition of Debbie, members of the other women's teams who were in town were out on ringing the court. As someone who grew up playing basketball and now coaches a women's team, what does this day and this celebration mean to you?
It's huge. First of all, I congratulated Debbie. I came out right at the end of that, and I ran up and gave her a hug, and I talked to her after the game too. But I have a great deal of respect for what she's done. She's a legend, and she's a UVA GOAT. And she did just amazing things here, and I watched it as I was growing up. So I'm happy that she's getting her flowers. I'm happy that people are recognizing her, and it's long overdue. I know that she's been recognized along the way, but she deserves everything she's getting now. And I appreciate all her words of encouragement, support, love, whether it's in person, text message, calls, or anything. So I have a lot of respect for her. I love our relationship. But just in general, this game, you can touch so many people through this game. And there was a time where women couldn't play this game. And so to see how far it's come, to see these young kids that are looking up to our players, to see the impact that myself and my staff are having on our players, the impact this game has had on me. Coaches, that was my college coach I just coached against, so coaches that have impacted me. This game, this really, this orange ball has taken me all around the world, almost every continent, so it's just such a blessing to be able to do that and to share it with people that you love, and impact people that you love, and just be able to have that opportunity every day. So I just want all those little girls out there, really little boys and girls, but it's about girls right now, to be able to look at them and be like, okay, I know I can reach my dreams and goals if I just work hard, and I think that this program and all these young ladies that play for it are great examples of hard work, character, integrity, just love for the game, but also love for people. Bless you. Game's got a lot going on. So, I love the fact that girls are now look at what happened with Steph Curry and Sabrina the other day. We all wanted her to win, even though Steph Curry is one of my favorite players, but wanted Sabrina to win. But, I mean, just bridging the gap, that's a huge moment for women's basketball, women's sports, and just to see how far we've grown, because women have not always been respected in that regard. So I love it. I think this day is really every day. We celebrate it the real day was a couple days ago, but it's really every day, and I think women got to continue to do what they do and just reaching down and picking other people up and empowering people along the way.